G'day everybody, and welcome to another YouTube video. A little bit different today. I'm going to show you a bit more of some of the things I have in my collection around the place. This time not Star Wars related, which might come as a surprise for a lot of you. This is a TV show or a cartoon series that was around in the late 70s, early 80s, known as Battle of the Planets. It was known as Battle of the Planets in sort of the States and the English or sort of Western countries, based on the Japanese anime known as Gatchaman. So I'll take you through a bit and show you some of the things I have in my collection. So I'll just move this out of the way. So basically what the story or the cartoon was about this group of characters. As you can see, there's 5 of them, 5 good guys, and they basically work together under the alias of G-Force, and they all sort of had their own special abilities, and they battled the evil Zoltar, which is this guy here. Now he was sort of hell-bent on taking over the world, and each week in the different episodes there'd be a new monster to fight. So this is an example of one of the he was a huge monster, but with the model that only comes as a small one, and there's his pistol that he used to have. So he'd have these sort of henchmen who'd work with him to try and take over, and as I said, each week, new monster. So we'll go through some of the characters. This was a little fella here. His name was Keop. He sort of had this underwater submarine, and his weapon was sort of this sort of 2 balls on a piece of string that he'd swing around and take people out with, either trip them up. So he was sort of like a bit of comic relief, sort of, you know, bit of a weird speech, more like half alien, half human, so it was a bit hard to understand him sometimes. We then move on to the female of the group, known as Princess. Now Princess here, she had the bit of a hots for this guy here, but we'll get on to him in a minute. So Princess used to ride around in what was like a specialised motorbike, moped sort of version, as you can see there, and her weapon was like this sort of spinning yo-yo, as you can see there. So she'd hold onto it and whip it out, and it could do lots of weird and wonderful things. This here was the leader. His name was Mark. He sort of was the athletic one. He flew the jet fighter, so everybody wanted to be Mark. And he also had this weapon. It was like a boomerang that he could throw out. It would knock out his enemies and then fly back to him. Then we move on to the pilot. Now, the pilot here, known as Tiny. Tiny was very important because he was the one who flew the actual ship that everybody flew around in. Everybody's vehicles were embedded into this ship, either in the end parts on the end of the wings or underneath. Mark used to fly his plane, and his plane would form the 3 prongs of the actual ship, so it was rather interesting. And the other important part about the ship was it would turn into a fiery phoenix, and that's how it would destroy the big monsters at the end of each episode. It would turn into this fiery phoenix looking bird, fly through them, and then it'd make them explode. So Tiny, as you can see, was a larger character, sort of got all the big chubby jokes, and had the weapon, but a very strong character. Then we had sort of the rebellious Jason. Now Jason was sort of always butting heads against the leader, Mark. Jason had a racing car. That's how he got around. So he was sort of like the cool bad boy of the group. He also had a couple of weapons. There was his gun there, and he also had this sort of poisonous feather that could turn into a bomb and explode things and whatever else, but he could throw it and it would stick into things and blow up. So really, for a kid growing up, it was an exciting series. I got onto it later, but through my brother. But since then, as you can see behind each character, there's 5 sets of DVDs, each with about 15 episodes on each, so quite a few episodes to get your way through. And it was a TV series, as I say, that ran into the 80s, and you can still catch it every now and then. There's not too much of it on YouTube. But anyway, thought I'd show you these characters. As you can see, these come with their capes in the background. They've got their sort of bird-shaped helmets, and then they stand rather nicely. They're not sort of very poseable, but I wouldn't suggest really playing with them, because they're not as sort of malleable as your stock standard Star Wars figure. But all in all, they are a nice collection. It's a good TV show. Get your kids into, or get anybody into, Japanese anime. And so anyway, hope you enjoyed that video, and hope you enjoyed me sharing my bit more of what's in my collection with you. Cheers.